People say, so what do you do? I say, look, I do rock, hip hop, tribal. Figure that out, man. Everything that touches me, that I see injustices that my parent lived, that I have to live through them. I call myself Latinoamericano. There's a culture that from Mexico to Argentina we all have. But within that, there's the indigenous. That is, for me, it's the roots.
There's gonna come a point where the algorithm comes in and you have to please the algorithm. Suddenly, you have to cross-reference what the algorithm is and wants versus who you are.
That's who I am, and that's a Chile that I knew when I was 5 years old. I went to there and I saw that, okay, this is my family. This is where I come from.
If I was to put you here on a shelf, what does the packaging say?
If you don't have a catching hook in a song within the first 10 seconds, you're out.
Yeah.
Imagine how important for you is the lyrics. Like, I have a message to say. It's super important. No country in Latin America should be poor. You have way too much natural resources. The discipline martial arts bring you at, there's not a lot of sport that can bring you that, because there's no ego in the gym.
Yes.
You know when GSP, when Easy, do you know they're the best? You know they can whoop your ass. In music business, art is subjective. Now you need to do your show, go home, rest. No party, no, it's your job, brother. And you need to be there. Fear. Conquer yourself first. All of the big champs have sacrificed something, but it's a price to pay. Trust your guts. You know, don't try to accommodate things. No. Red flag, you see a red flag, out. I don't have time to waste.
Welcome to the Melding Muse podcast. Melding art and design, entrepreneurship, music, fashion, film, sports, gaming, and whatever's in between. We exist to showcase extraordinary people to inspire the next generation of creatives and leaders. My guest today is Akawui, father, MMA fighter, musician, and artist visiting us from Canada. We talked about music, celebrating indigenous cultures, the mental game, Latin American culture, did a song with Maori rapper Swizl Jagger, and a lot more. If you love music, this episode is for you. Akawui, welcome to the Melding Muse podcast. How are you doing, my bro?
Thank you very much. I'm doing great, brother. I have a little toothache, but other than that, it's good.
Man, thank you so much for coming in. I know you had a very busy couple of days.
4 days busy.
Yeah.
We came for that.
Yeah.
We were ready for that.
Yeah. So thank you for coming through, taking the time, sit down with me and have a chat. As soon as I heard about you, I was like, definitely want to have you on because I'm pretty sure we can connect in a bunch of ways. I used to be a musician as well. I play music as well.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I play in a metal band. I rapped as well in Spanish and English. And of course, as any South American, I think we have that passion for the music that I used to make was all about revolution, injustice, and standing up for our people. And I think that's South Americans. I think like we talked about before, we were outside talking. We just have that in our blood. Yeah. So as soon as I hear your music, and I heard what you were doing, I was like, that's an impressive and outstanding thing that you're doing. And I definitely want to talk to you about your journey of creating this beautiful music. When I heard your music, a couple of things came to mind, a couple of influences. And you tell me if I'm wrong in this.
Please go, because I want to do something about, like, who do I remind you to?
So you remind me of, let me tell you who remind me. Of course, you remind me, or you give me memories of being in Colombia, listening to Andina music. Yeah. So la flauta, that gives you that very, very emotional vibes. But that also the rock gave me a Los Prisioneros vibe, which I grew up with a lot. It was one of my favorite rock en español bands from Chile. Yeah. Residente, Calle 13, also has the same, especially the way that you craft your rhymes and the way that the punch sort of hits within the different types of melodies. Yeah. Because you know how Calle 13 specifically, they also merge a bunch of different genres together. So it gave me that sort of vibe.
100%.
But it also had an emotional raw thing behind it. And I think that's what makes it unique.
Thank you, bro.
From your perspective, it has some power there. I think some anger, some,
some hours of
some guts,
therapist.
Some guts. No, some guts.
Bro. Yeah, of course,
something that comes from inside. Yeah, and then I looked at a video and I'm like, this guy used to be an MMA fighter. That's what it comes from.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
so first of all, congratulations for your journey all the way until here.
Thank you.
And the way I want to start this conversation is we can talk about your journey if you want, but the first thing I really want to ask you about is how do you find this identity in music? Because your identity in music is very unique. So just walk us through that process of finding this music as an identity for yourself, and then how you've been sort of evolving as an artist, as you've been doing this for a long time now.
Mm-hmm. I believe it was always in me since a kid, because growing up, I didn't really listen to much conventional or pop music. I was really listening to Andean music with my dad. I think my parents are really... I was born in Chile, in Montreal, sorry. But when I go to Chile, people think I'm Chilean, and I've been living. It's like, no, I'm Canadian. I came to Chile at the age of 5. So I think the roots of Chile, Spanish, and my music career is in Spanish.
Yeah.
So, and I have to go to Chile and be like, no, I'm Canadian, or it's like,
yeah.
So Andean music, folklorical music was really big. So if you ask me what are your favorite songs, I would tell you Jarcas y Yapu, my father, Andean music.
Wow.
Violeta Parra, Víctor Jara. This is something that is really, really deep. As a matter of fact, I'm starting a new project now called Esencia, un trio que it has cello, double bass, and piano.
Wow.
And I'm doing covers of that, and Esencia, why? Because it's really the songs that really resonate with me. So I'm singing, I'm not rapping, I'm just... And with Andean music, like I'm doing Andean songs, but with piano and cello, and
Yeah.
So I think the identity was there since.
I see.
And my father started busking and doing Andean music. So Andean music is really from Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela. Everything has a joropo. I grew up singing a song that is from Venezuela, el folklore. And then when I became, going to school, and then you started hearing rap and stuff. So I'll always involve, like, I'm born in Montreal, you listen to rap. I mean, you listen to hip hop, you listen to salsa, all that, Latin music. And growing up, and then I did Brazilian music. I have a long journey into music, but getting to know myself, I had to stop in 2014. A friend said, you got to stop doing Brazilian music, because I was a vocalist in a Brazilian band doing samba, reggae, and ashe music.
Yeah.
With ashe music from Salvador, Bahia. It has nothing to do with really samba. It's really like calypso and anyways. And then I was like, well, I got to be true to myself. What do I want to talk? So it's like, of course, contestatario, like politically engaged, and my Andean roots, and my Mapuche roots, because I'm Mapuche on my dad's side. I was always really aware that my father, we were indigenous. And that's where I think it all came. Always involved with indigenous people since a kid, always.
What was the first song that you wrote? Like, what was that? If you could, like, describe that song, what would it say? Does it have rock? Does it have hip hop? Does it have Andean music? Or was it like a pure Andean music that started to blend all these things as the time evolved, or was it from the jump the first track kind of had all these elements together?
No, the first song was CRUZ ANDINA, and it's a song that I produced with a Cuban producer, Frank Palacio, who that guy produced Gente de Zona.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Wow. He said, yo, the director artistic from Gente de Zona lives in Montreal, near Montreal. So really, yeah, you should work with him. And this guy produced the first version of Bailando with Gente de Zona.
That right?
Yeah, with Gente de Zona directly. So this guy was living in Montreal, and I approached him. I was like, yo, could we? I need a good music producer who can get my vibe. And it wasn't clear. Because I was still searching. So I did CRUZ ANDINA, which talks about really I call it my coming out.
Right.
Like, this is me. This is me with my influences and what I want to talk about. And from there on, I did another one, Deshaya, and which is with a powwow, indigenous drum, because I got invited to be a powwow in indigenous chants from North America, Turtle Island.
Yeah.
And then it started getting that hip hop, that rock. And now I say, people say, so what do you do? I say, look, I do rock, hip hop, tribal. So figure that out, man.
Rock, hip hop, tribal.
Hip hop, rock, tribal. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I see. Well, that's interesting, man. Like that journey right there. when it comes to the themes initially, what exactly were you singing about? Were you connecting in terms of the lyrical content? Because we talked about what it sounded like. What was the lyrical content like?
Everything that touches me, that I see injustices that my parent lived, that I have to live through them as well. Identity, Mapuche identity, the indigeneity within the Latin American society. For me, it's something that mesmerized me. I can understand that I am Latino. I understand. I call myself Latinoamericano. Why? People are like, yeah, but Latino, it's colonized, and I'm wearing a colonized. Which one I'm wearing today? I'm wearing the another hat. But there's a culture that from Mexico to Argentina we all have, and then if you talk with a Colombian, with a Peruvian, if you talk with a Chilean, we all have like a Latin culture in. But within that, there's the indigenous. That is, for me, it's the roots, pretty much. And after that, Afro diaspora came, and that also became with the Spaniard, and that created. So that's a big topic for me, like the indigenous identity within the Latin culture.
Right.
Because with that, we wouldn't be Latino. We wouldn't be, the social injustices that I see through. No country in Latin America should be poor. You have way too much natural resources, but there's power that came, and in Chile was the CIA, the states. We know that Canada, Switzerland,
corruption runs so deep that it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. And that happened through all the countries in Latin America.
Yeah,
and the lovely thing is that this John Leguizamo, American actor from Puerto Rico, and he said,
John Leguizamón.
Yeah. Leguizamo.
Sí, he's Colombian.
John
Leguizamón is Colombian.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Fuck, I thought you guys was Puerto Riqueño.
Yeah, bro. Let's search it up. I don't want to be wrong, but I'm pretty sure John Leguizamón is.
I thought he was part Puerto Riqueño, part Mexican. Let's go.
Let's search it up. He did a whole show like being Latino, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
This guy, see?
Is Colombian?
He's Colombian, yeah.
Shit. Right.
Yeah, see, Bogotá, Colombia.
Well, beautiful.
Yeah. John Leguizamón. He's a legend right there.
Yeah. Because this guy actually stands up for what's happening in the United States.
Yeah.
So all those injustices that I see when you travel to the poor, because my dad and my mom grew up poor.
Yeah.
That's another big topic. When my father's like, yo, I couldn't finish my elementary school because I was too poor. I was too ashamed because I didn't have proper shoes to go to school.
Yeah.
So at 12 years old, I said, fuck school. I'm going to go work. So he was catching tennis ball as a kid. And my grandma, couldn't write and read, Mapuche lady. So all those injustices, then when you start growing, I was like, fuck. That's who I am, and that's what I learned. That's a Chile that I knew when I was 5 years old. I went to there and I saw, like, okay, this is my family. This is where I come from.
Wow! So you, at 5 years old, you felt that identity.
Yeah, because I go to Chile to see to after 12 years of dictatorship. My mom couldn't go back to Chile because of Pinochet, because they left as political refugees. So when Pinochet got out of the power of the man that. Boom! The first thing she did, she took my sister and I, and we went back to. Well, she went back and it's like, now you're gonna meet your grandma and your family.
Wow,
and I
beautiful.
get there and it's like, oh my god, I have so many cousins, and then right, cousin, aunt, and then I start seeing like, okay, well, in her house we don't have hot water. If you want a hot shower, you gotta boil the water.
Yeah.
And and then I go see misery or poor, It's like, okay, this is different. It's different than the commodity that we have in North America. So I kind of understood really fast where I was coming from, where were my roots, seeing where my dad's house and his story. So I think that resonated with me growing and writing lyrics.
Writing the lyrics.
Yeah.
That connected. That's beautiful, man. Yeah, we talked about this before as when we were outside, but the ability to connect as a Latin American with your indigenous roots in for many of us is actually very difficult. So I'm glad that you managed to your dad was still very close to the Mapuche identity, that you could be.
He became close to that identity in Canada.
Is that right?
Because in Chile was like, everybody's dark. Everybody, even though they call him El Negro Nelson in the neighborhood, he was known for Negro Nelson, the Black Nelson, because he was really dark. You know, and in Chile, in Latin America, negro doesn't mean it's not racist. Negro, get what? So, hey, Negro Nelson. My dad was really dark. But so we got to Canada in the 1978, and there was not many Latino. As a matter of fact, he said, yo, when we saw Latino on the street, we were like,
yo, yeah.
He's like, what's up? Like, let's be friends, let's talk, let's connect, right?
Yeah, New Zealand was the same, dude. When I came here, you saw a Latino, you exchange numbers immediately. Nowadays, there's so many of us. But back when I got here, like 18 years ago, you saw somebody speak Spanish, you're like, oh, dude, we got to be friends.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So, and Canadian looked at him and said, like, you're Indigenous, and the Indigenous community from Canada, from Quebec, and because he started doing music, start being like, yo, brother, where are you from? And my dad's like, well, you know what? Actually, I'm Mapuche. My mom, we were Mapuche. And yeah, because you're native. It's like, yeah. But in Chile, I was just like in the slum. We're just a native, another Chilean. He kind of like be like, yo, you're making me see that I'm native. In Chile, I'm just a Chilean. But here, I'm like something that I always knew that I was. Yeah. In Canada, like I'm native. Like even compared to the other Chileans, like you guys are way whiter than me. And then he started claiming his indigeneity in Canada. And my grandma, when I was 3-4 years old, she went to Montreal to visit my dad, and we took a picture all with Mapuche regalia, Mapuche traditional clothing. And my dad wanted to do it. He said, "No, man, I wanna, because that's who I am, you know."
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. Let's talk about quickly we talked about your roots and all of that, which is amazing. Walk me through the creative process as you write an album, as you write a song, especially an album, because you have albums, which is something that
it took me years, man.
Yeah,
it took me years to write an album.
It's something that in today's fast-consuming world is almost gone pretty much, you know. I mean, like artists create albums, but they're not created the same way that they were created 20 years ago, right, or 10 years ago, where there was a whole concept behind it, and the whole thing had a narrative, and it was from the cover of the album to the books inside the album to the whole thing, right? Walk me through your creative process in terms of songwriting. Where does it start? Like, does it start from, for example, let me give you an example. So for me, for example, usually I have an idea of something I want to talk about, but I don't write first. I first write an emotion, and then from that emotion, I start playing drums. Then I create a guitar riff from that emotion. And then once I have something that is already got a groove or something like that, then I start writing lyrics. So that's sort of my creative process.
That's cool. That's cool. With it, start with the beat and the guitar. See, I don't play any harmonical instrument. I don't play guitar, bass, keys. So everything I play ending pan flutes, percussion. So everything comes really visual, bro. For me, it's visual.
Right, visual?
Yeah, visually. Sometimes I see something and I see like, oh, the music video has to be this. This is the idea, or this is the concept. An example: I'm in Spain talking with a Guatemalan friend who owns a big festival, and he knows everybody. And I say as a joke, I was like, "Yo, El Tío Alfredo is like the godfather of world music, brother."
Yeah.
And yeah, true, the godfather. And he's Mayan, you know, the man is Mayan. Yeah. He has a Maya last name. And I was like, man, we should play the Godfather theme in marimba. Like, whoa! And then I say that, and then people, that's cool, let's go. And then put some cumbia in it. I'm giving a spoiler, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got it. So it's already in production. That's how it came.
Oh, I see.
You know, con marimba with marimba, but then put some, you know. that's how that. So now I'm producing the song with a guy from Colombia actually.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, let's do this, and he said, okay, you got it, you got the, because I saw him here like Tio Alfredo, and everybody knows a badass uncle who's like, you don't mess with my uncle. And this guy he's Mayan, he's like, he knows everybody. So I'm writing the lyrics through that, and you know.
That's awesome.
That's how it came. That song.
Does the process always look the same in terms, or does it change sometimes? Because for example, when I used to write music, oftentimes because I play in a band, so it wasn't just me. I would write a song, but sometimes it would be a concept from somebody else, like the guitarist of my band will come in and say, hey, I got this rhythm, and then you catch something from that, and then you add to it or whatever. So I have two questions for you, because I'm very interested in this. When I used to write music, for example, one of the coolest things about writing music was that we used to play them and then make adjustments every time. So we took, I don't know, like one of the most popular songs we had. That song, if you were to listen to that song, the first year that we had that song looked completely different.
Yeah.
And it evolved so much from playing it at shows and finding the reaction of people, how they had, you know, how when this breakdown came in, how would they react? Are we keeping it steady for too long? Do we have to bring this breakdown a little bit closer or whatever? And that sort of feedback loop basically molded a song that now, like when you see it now, it's like, okay, shit, this song has, you can see the evolution. At the very least, from our perspective, you can see an evolution on that song. From your perspective, do you do that as well? Do you mold songs based on performances? Do you mold songs based on new rhythms that come on? Or like, what is your process like?
I have a friend, Adam, you're probably going to watch this, Adam. And he's like, you got to do that more. I was like, yes, I know. Because that's a real music process. What you do in a band. That's how I think music should really be doing. It's not like, to be honest, the songs that I did in El Futuro Tribal, I had them, I worked with a music producer, and some of them songs, Breath of Fire was made in 6 hours.
Right.
I had a riff, you know, and then I said, so I sent that riff, and the guy did it, okay, and guitar, okay. Then I say, the haka's like, oh ma yo kupuki ba. And then it's like, okay, start looking the bass. I start playing the song live with the band, and it evolved. It was like way better. And now in this version 2.0, I said, no. Now I'm putting the bass, because after 3 years playing with the band, my drummer, who's amazing, I have like great musicians, you know. Shout out to Donald, Etienne, Adam. Brothers, always helping
Shout
me.
out.
Yes, man, always there and having my back, and you know, because we believe in the project and the music, and they're amazing musicians.
Yeah.
And they're starting to have and I let them, like, you guys are making my song, this project, better. So they own musicians, they create new breaks, you know.
Arreglos.
Arreglos. Yeah. When I say boom, 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 after like a year, 2 years, one day I'm like singing, and then boom, boom, and then the drum is like pam, 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 and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Like
CRUZ ANDINA, the same thing. Date prisa que llegó la hora, despierta. And then it was, and one day I'm like, date prisa que llegó la hora, despierta. And I was like, like, date prisa que llegó la hora, recuerda. Bam, bam. It's like, oh, so there's those things make the song like, wow, way better. So I think that's the organic way. It's the way. It takes time. It takes money.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, man, I need to start producing.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, not all of my songs have that. And I think that's a produce word. Now I need to, like, now I know what to do.
Next level.
Next level.
Yeah.
And it's brainstorm more.
Yeah.
You know, recipes. Like, okay, it's good. Taste it. Because music is a product, brother. It's a product that you have to, like any culinary music. I always say, if your song is a dish, what type of food would it be?
Yes, I love that.
You know, what type of food? And a lot of people will be like, what?
That's an exercise that perhaps, actually, I was going to ask you about that. Because I do this with artists, because I'm a designer. I didn't tell you this.
Well, I can tell, man. I can tell.
So I'm a designer and I develop brands, I develop products.
Beautiful.
And it works the same thing with a musician. Like musician, oftentimes they don't ask themselves that enough. Like if I was a product, if I was to be on a fucking shelf, if I was to put you here on a shelf, what does the packaging say? What does the packaging say? You know? And that's super important.
I have that same vision, man. I have this really marketing vision for musician. Sometimes, like, man, I gave an advice to a friend of mine whose music is amazing, but his package is not ready.
Yeah,
and exactly. I said, brother, I went to a coffee place. And this is, he's like, where are you going? Like, my Jean-Claude Van Damme here is coming out. He's coming. My girlfriend's like, you're like Jean-Claude Van Damme. You go everywhere and then nobody understands what the fuck you're saying.
It doesn't matter.
It's like,
that's why this is a long form podcast. Just fucking hang with us.
And then Jean-Claude's like, so yes. I was like, yes, what, man? So I said, bro, I went to a coffee shop. This coffee was in a good avenue and it's expensive. But as soon as I got there, I knew like the menu was kind of off. I was like, this like not solid menu. The coffee that I bought, this is a true story, wasn't good. And I was like, this is not gonna last. Because to be here, paying a rent in a coffee shop like this, it's expensive. And either you're washing money, it's a front, or either you better get better service, better coffee, and a menu that's actually going to attract. So your promo, your marketing, your product, what you're selling is going to sell because it's a business.
Yeah.
Whether within 6 months I'm going to pass and it's going to be closed. So I see that for us musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, CEO, labels, that's what we are right now. We're labels. If I'm independent, even if you have a distribution company online, it's you're on your own, brother.
Yes, that's right.
So you gotta take care of all that package that makes sense, or else people are not gonna be able to find you.
Yes.
People are not gonna be able, like, they want more, or you gotta be like, oh, when I see that artist, I know what it's about.
Yes.
I know what I can go buy, and I know how I can sell him. And I think we need to think like that more.
You need to think like that more.
100%.
100%. Because when you go to an aisle in the supermarket, you walk through, there's so many things that want to catch your attention. You go to a milk aisle, there's so many milks right now.
Oh, yeah.
So why should they pick you? Do they even understand what you are? You know, when, like you said,
a logo,
when they come across this guy, they go, oh, okay, I listen to his track. Okay, I know what he's about. I connect with it. I know what he's all about. Everything.
Even know now that because everything is so fast.
Yeah.
So I think now it's what? If you don't have a catching hook in a song that within the first 10 seconds, you're out.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, within the first seconds, is it something not catchy?
Right now is one of those things like when I grew up making music, right? Like there was the early days in the internet. It was so expensive to produce a song. It was so hard. Nowadays you can produce a song so easily, but there's so much music out there. And how are you standing out? Bro, there's so many super duper talented artists in Spotify that just I haven't heard yet.
True.
Because there's a sea of music that I can't find them. So when I find them, I need to know what's your packaging. I need to know, oh shit, I connect with this. Bro, sometimes I play, for example, this one of my favorite rappers right now I listen to a lot is Nampa Básico, Colombian rapper. I'm going to show it to you because it's amazing. But for example, sometimes I just play Nampa Básico on radio, on Spotify, just because I want to hear new artists that Spotify algorithm recommends me that are on the same sort of melodic rap tunes. And sometimes you just hear a voice. The way that they did the production on the voice, they just make it sound quite unique. And you go, okay, wait, what is that voice? Like right away, that's something that makes you unique in the pack. That's part of your packaging. So from the voice, from the way you present yourself, I don't know if you come across the whole case study of FEID. You know who FEID is? He's one of the biggest Latin artists in the world. Like right now, next to Bad Bunny and Karol G, he's probably out there. He's probably one. I'm
good with pictures.
I play a song and you'll be like, I know who that dude is. But this guy, dude, is an incredible case study. What is he right now? Let's quickly do it live here. What is his artist? So he's 88th, 82nd in the world. He used to be a lot higher, but this guy.
Well, but
estoy buscando respuestas.
Never heard of it?
Al menos dame un perreíto more.
He has songs with Bad Bunny. Anyway, this guy used to be a songwriter for some of the biggest artists in reggaeton music. J Balvin, you name it. His songwriting style was so unique, so good, but he couldn't develop an artist profile, and for years he was basically he just decided to write music for other artists because he couldn't find who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started finding what we are talking about. He started finding who he was, his authenticity, what made him different. So he started making songs using very specific words from Medellin that make him stand out from the rest. The sound of his voice changed dramatically. So the producer that he started working with, the way that he was dressing himself, and now he's one of the biggest case studies in terms of marketing for an artist in Latin America. He's one of the biggest. Anyway, long-winded road to just say that is an important thing as an artist, to be able to put yourself in a package and say, this is who I am, this is my unique value proposition. So moving forward, after all the things that you've learned, what are some of those things that you're going to start applying or embracing in the next wave of songs that you're going to release, next album that you're going to release, that are going to help you separate yourself and create that identity that you have as a brand?
It's what you said before. It's what you said before about taking time to develop a song,
right,
and have a raw sound, like have that, and people feel it. People feel it, because sometimes you never really tried a song. You go in the studio and then you never really sang it too much, and then you record it and then it's out.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
You didn't really embody that sound.
Yeah.
You haven't lived it more. You should more and more. That's one of the things in the production. The production, quality production needs to be. And I look for what is popping out there. I'm like, okay, what are we listening to? It's super important, but I try not to lose my authenticity in the process. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And if I do go with what's mainstream, it's because I like it.
Yeah, because you feel it.
Because
you feel it's part of you.
Yes. Because if you don't feel it and you're just doing it because it's out there, for me it's like, no, I'm gonna be on stage. I'll be like, fuck my life. Like, what am I doing? What am I saying? What am I singing? You know what? No. So I like reggaeton. I have no problem with the reggaeton. Just the lack of the lyrics. Victor Jara said, Yapu said, how important for you is the lyrics? Like, I have a message to say, so what I have to come say, it's super important. Like, that's why we're compositores, we're authors, you know. I think that when you turn on the radio, all the song of reggaeton says the same thing, and that's for me is like, I'm like, okay, I understand hamburguesa and papa frita, burger and fries, I know. Then you like, okay, what are you gonna eat today? Burgers and fries again. Burgers and fries.
100%
burger
agree.
and fries and
ketchup.
And I'm like, bro, I want to eat burgers and fries.
Yeah,
at night. Yes. But at 10 a.m.,
it's always a time and space for everything.
I'm like, no, I don't want to.
I agree with you. 100%.
I think we consume too much burgers and fries. That's a and if you can do a burger and fry organic with healthy stuff, well, I'm like, that's cool. You know, what is that? Hey, put some more music into it. You can do it. And if you see all the people in the music history, they thought about outside of the box. And I admire people like that. I admire that they're like, they take. I think human beings, we're always going to take the easy road in anything. And we're always going to be like, no, you know what? Like ChatGPT now. Like, no, ChatGPT, do me this. Maybe we're going to, maybe in 50 years, we're going to lose a way of expressing because we
don't have to.
It's like, no, we used to say that. We used to, you know. So I think with music, I'm going to try to always now enforce, like, no, take the hard road, because at the end, kind of pays in developing the music aspect.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I leave you with something that I learned, and I remember when I learned this. I learned this from a book actually. It's called Start With Why, and it's a book about business and brand, but it applies a lot for musicians. And there's a whole part in that book that talks about exactly what you're saying in terms of when you are a musician or a brand, product, whatever you're creating. If you start with why you're doing this, what is the message that you want to send? Why you exist in the world? And as a musician, could be exactly what you say. It could be the purpose of communicating your roots. I want to get this message out there. Could be the purpose just to make people vibe and happy. Doesn't matter. But you need to have that very clear, and that why very clearly, because it's going to come a point where exactly what you just mentioned, the algorithm comes in and you have to please the algorithm.
Man.
And then suddenly, then you have to cross-reference what the algorithm is and wants versus what you are, right? And then in that book, there's a very beautiful concept called the celery test. And the celery test is something every artist and every business person should do, which is essentially the following. I'm going to try and explain it the easiest way possible.
Please.
When, let's say that you have a business and your business is about optimal body performance, and it's all about eating healthy, and it's all about exercising and stuff like that. Cool. This is why you exist. Perfect. Then I come to you and I go, dude, you know what? You know what's selling like hot right now is M&Ms. You have to get onto these M&Ms. You have to start selling M&Ms because that's the hottest thing right now. The algorithm loves that shit. And then you go, oh, fuck, okay, I have to do, okay, I do M&Ms. Okay, cool. And then another person comes, go, no, you got to do this other thing, right? You got to do fucking ultra low carb beer because that's sort of in that avenue.
Which is amazing, by the way. I love beer.
But the celery test is when you basically start receiving all these pieces of feedback that start shaping your product. If you take that feedback, if I tell you the M&Ms are amazing and you go, okay, cool, I'm going to start selling M&Ms. And then you fucking go,
you
okay.
lose yourself.
Exactly.
I remember that before on pause and we were talking about the new Pharrell Williams documentary that did in Lego. That's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah.
He was doing something for the market, and before he was just creating what, and saying, no, we should do this for this, and this we should this for to sell for this, and then we remix this song for this type of clientele, and people were like, no, it's not really how it. And then he lost himself. And then he kind of like,
reconnected again. Yeah, so that's essentially what the celery test is. It's basically telling yourself, wait a minute, M&Ms, health and optimal body condition, that doesn't go with my thing. Like, that's not who I am. You know what I mean? And then you just go, okay, cool. So that I'm not gonna do that because that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
And then so if you use that exercise, right, to shape your music and who you are. For example, let's say that you like reggaeton. Okay, cool. You like reggaeton. What do you like about reggaeton? I like the rhythm. It has a groove. It has a feeling. You know, it hits hard when you're in a party, whatever. Cool. I can take that, but I don't want my message to be about drinking alcohol and hookers and cocaine and, so that's not me. So if you, like you said, if you find yourself then in a stage singing about this thing, you're like, fuck, man, who am I? So that's one thing that as an artist, that's super important to be able to know. It's like, this is me, who I am as a brand. And again, for many people that could evolve, So I'm not saying that is the wrong way to go about it, but at the end of the day, it's all about how you feel authentic to yourself. It's how you connect to yourself back, and that's how you produce the best music. Many artists lose themselves, and then they stop loving making music because they, have you watched that Avicii documentary?
Yeah,
man, what a talented dude that guy was. And all that pressure of just making, no, you have to make this record that sounds like this because it's like, no, I'm gonna make the record that I want to make because that's who I am, and people will love me because that's who they want me to. Like they like me because 100%. Of me.
Yeah, and And then you just become a copy of something of the market.
Exactly. So then you become that product that looks like the one next to
the
it.
burger and fries. Like, oh, there's another burger and fries. That's why for a lot of artists then in reggaeton genre, you're like, it's like you sound just like another dude for me. And
yeah. Especially people that don't understand the language, if you show them here, it's like, look, listen to this song, and then you play another guy. It's like, isn't that the same guy?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's a different guy.
No.
It sounds exactly the same.
And you're singing about the same thing that this other guy is singing. It's the same, you know. And there's so many, brother. There's so many topics and creativity in an artist life that if you start really digging. Like, you could do a song for anything. You could do a song about, like, the person that went and start creating this metal can. You know, what goes in his mind, what he went through. Like, if you want, really dig. It's like...
There's so much content you can write. So much
concept in the human psyche and we limit it into just, like, no, burger and fries, brother.
Yeah.
It's hard for me, man. Like, even, like, the song Breath of Fire, it's about fighting. It's like raw fighting.
Bro, let's talk about that for a second.
Breath of Fire, let's go.
Let's talk about fighting because I am a huge
You're
MMA
going to see MMA, huh?
I'm going to see MMA in a couple of hours.
Nice.
What time is it? 6:21. Fuck, we pretty soon to go and do that. Yeah, I'm going to go Shuriken fighting. The Colombian guy is fighting tonight.
Sweet. The Latino scene is getting happy.
Yes, fuck yes.
Yes,
it wasn't
like that, man.
Well, there's a Chilean guy that fights out of here as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's a Chilean guy.
Nice, man. Nice.
I don't remember what his name is. I follow him on Instagram. As soon as I saw he's a Latino, bro, every time I see a Latino, it's like...
I love seeing that. I love seeing the... what's his name? The Mexican kid. Was pretty crazy when he talks like that. Hey, ¿qué pasó? Super.
Which one? There's so many of them. Moreno?
Chiquitito, small... hilarious. He's gonna do great, man.
Babyface? You're talking about the assassin baby?
No. I just hope he does well, man. He just needs to keep knocking, and this guy has going because he's super good with
Raúl Rosas Jr. de pronto, no?
He's good with the media. No, I forgot, man. He has crazy face. He has a great. His mouthpiece is like his teeth, and he's hilarious. He's funny, just funny. He's like doesn't give a fuck about medias, and he's like, yeah, what? He's like, I don't care about this. I don't care about brands. Like, I don't. And Bahamondas, Chilean.
Oh, Chilean. I saw him fight recently. He's badass.
He's really good, man.
He's really good.
And his little brother, like we follow each other on Instagram, and I'm like, see. And now there's a karate Chilean champ in karate combat.
Oh yeah.
Boom. He's a champion. He's Chilean too, man.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yes. So it's making all the fighting scene in Chile grow up. And there's another girl in Chile, Brazilian. No, there's a few fighting women. Fighting in MMA.
That's amazing, dude.
Yes,
I mean, New Zealand has such a good gyms. So I actually had a fighter in the podcast as well, a Colombian kid. He grew up in New Zealand, but he's such a killer.
He's cool. Yeah. I think have good striking here, huh?
Yeah. The gyms here are amazing. And
I wanted to go today. I was supposed to train in the morning. With a brother, the roommate of Swizl, who I'm staying. He said, but he's sick. He was gonna bring me at the gym of Easy, where he
City Kickboxing. Yeah, no, man. Those gyms are here and amazing. Anyway, so we're gonna go to Shuriken fight series is called tonight. But anyway, let me talk about that because, bro, I have so much respect for anybody who is willing to jump in a cage and just go for it. Like I train Muay Thai, kickboxing,
beautiful sport,
and it's amazing. I enjoy it, but I've never jumped into a cage to go and save my life from a man that's just gonna go and annihilate me. And I just have so much respect for people who are willing to do that. You've done that.
Yeah, man.
Tell me what was that like?
I got the chance to be. I always loved the martial arts scene. As when I was 5, I did kung fu. Then I went 10, I did kung fu again. Then boxing. Then capoeira. A lot of capoeira, and capoeira led me to jiu-jitsu and after that Muay Thai and vale todo, MMA. And I always wanted to prove myself. You know, I was like, I love this, and I compete. I always love to compete. One day, my mom said, because I wasn't the kid fighting at school,
right?
That wasn't me. You know, I wasn't the kid, but I was a kid that was like, I have it here, and it's just like a little.
It's like a nick. It's like a niche.
Yeah, man. It's like, if you push me, man, I'm gonna. And I needed that. So as soon that I started getting into, and something funny, man, I was pretty good. I had like really good potential at capoeira.
Yeah.
But capoeira needs something that's called malicious.
Yeah.
So you're there, your friend, and all of a sudden your friend, kicks you in the head. And you're like, what? And I never had that malice in me.
Right.
And I wasn't a good capoeirista to fight hard because it wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know, and that something comes from the street sometimes. Like, you know, but when I did Muay Thai, I was like, ding, let's go. Because now I know we know that we're not. So for me, it was either black or white. Either we're going to play nice, or either we're going to. And then I discovered some phases, parts of me
that you didn't know.
Yeah, of course. That's what martial arts bring. Actually, funny, because on martial arts gyms, you're gonna see the bully get humble, and the guy that got bully become. Yeah, I've seen so many big bullies, brother. Russian good, getting to a sparring, and I'm suddenly, like, wow. I was like, now you're not big, huh? You're not big, like strong, because you see like someone else gonna come and sometimes I've seen many times. And the story of GSP was that guy who was bullied, just nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah, and what the GOAT, brother. Yeah. GSP for me is.
I have GSP right there.
Imagine, man.
GSP is right there.
Yeah, man. You know, I went to his house.
One of my goats right as well.
Yeah,
I have Khabib. And I have GSP right there.
Brother, I knew GSP. I trained with him a little. I knew him personally.
Really? Wow,
yeah. I trained with BTT Canada. I was fighting through BTT Canada, and he was fighting with TriStar and BTT. And then he fought for other Jacksons, and I saw how dedicated this guy was. As a matter of fact, one day he said, after training, he lost that fight with Matsera. And I was at the end, like always late. Like, no, I was like the last leaving the gym, taking my time. And George is like, yo, you want to ride? I'm like, yeah, what are you taking this street? Cool, I'll give you a ride. And he came back to BTT to train with us. And I knew him.
Yeah.
We're pretty like, oh, what's up, Akawui? And I got into his car. And that's when I saw the mentality of a champ. That like the little edge.
Yeah.
This guy puts a CD player, and it was a therapist, and he's talking to me, and I hear just like a therapist talking about physical and
active recovery or something like
that.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, George, what's up? What's this? And he said, oh, this doctor is amazing, man. He's one of the best. He will. So basically, George would train his mind listening
to this guy
while driving. To make you the best of the best. Yeah. And now he's 42. He retired with two titles.
He's also in such a good shape. It's like fucking incredible.
And he does things that I started doing, like intermittent fasting, eating organs.
Yeah, he does a lot of. He does that really long fast as well. Doesn't
sometimes
he?
like 2 days no water, and it's like, I feel great. So I'm like,
and trains as well.
Yeah, and you could do it. You could completely be fasted, train hard, and then what is all this stuff that people tell us, the thing outside the box. Yeah, man. So the discipline in the fighting aspect, man, and what martial arts bring you, I think there's not a lot of sport that can bring you that.
Yeah.
In the gym that I train, the man who owned the gym is Philippe Gelina. He's one of a true original member of the Dog Brothers. Dog Brothers were like a gang of Cali stick, but they start fighting for real, just putting like a mask and just hockey stick, and they would just whack at each other. Like,
oh shit!
Yeah, you really have to be the Dog Brothers, And their slogan was "Higher conscious through harder impact."
Oh shit! Is that right?
Yeah, so the more you get whacked hard, the more your consciousness is gonna be like, okay, this is what life is, like, So it hits. So I think martial arts, it's a blessing, and I always keep the same mentality in the music business. It's my reference for me to do music, because there's no ego in the gym.
Yes.
When GSP, when Easy does, they're the best. They can whoop your ass.
Yeah.
You know how, and where you at. In music business, art is subjective. So is it good? Yes. No.
For some,
so,
yeah, exactly.
In music, in art, in martial arts, no. Either you get knocked out or you knocked out people. Don't come with...
I love that, man. That's such a good analogy right there.
Yeah, brother.
Because that's what it is.
It's like, what it is. There's no bullshit.
Like, in music, I'm a better rapper than you.
Like says who?
Says who, bro? Like,
maybe you got fluke. Maybe you're good. Maybe
you have a good flow, but I go, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
exactly. And in martial arts, no, it's hard dedication. And the thing is, even when you compete, even when you gotta compete with your other partners, right? You gotta have to be like, yo, I want to be better. It's like, look, I'm gonna help you be better.
Yeah.
But I need to be here. Like, so I need to take my place. And in the music, I'm always in competition.
Yeah.
With any, like, I see like who's there. Well, nobody's gonna come and give you the belt. You gotta go get the belt.
You gotta fucking go and get the belt.
Go get the belt. No one's gonna give it to you. It's like, oh, here you. No, so you have to hustle. So in the music, it's like, okay, what is good? What is the music production's good? Shit. Well, for me to be there, I need to do something as better or even better. And when you're there, when you have the belt, now protect that belt, because now people are coming for your ass.
Now they're coming after you.
Now the real game is starting. So once you're once you got some big recognition, like about the music, he's known. I think now to stay there as a musician, it's hard, bro.
It's hard, bro. Once you hit that, it's one of those things like when the artist hit the hit song, now it's game on, bro, because the next song has to be a hit. The next song has to be a hit. It's like,
and now you need discipline. Now you need to do your show, go home, rest. No party, no. It's your job, brother.
It's your job, brother.
Because or else you lose your job, and tomorrow you have another show, and you need to be there. You know, and you need to like try to keep it. It's your job. It's your and surround yourself. So everything that happens in the gym, I like to put it in like my musicians are my team.
Yeah,
and sometimes I see bands that the lead singer is better, overpowers the musicians, and I'm like, you're only gonna be as good as your teammates.
Yeah.
So imagine in a gym, if you whoop all of your partner's ass, like no. It's not good to be the king shit here in your gym. Go in another gym.
Go to another gym where they can whoop your ass.
Yes. Yeah. So with my musicians, they're better than me, or they force me to be better.
Yeah.
Because my drummer, it's like, brother, you better rap well, because I'm here and.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit,
I'm leveling up.
Exactly. So we're all level. I call each other the Ninja Turtles, man. We're four, and we all have personalities. Like, fuck, we're Kawabunga. Let's go. Let's break a leg.
Yeah, 100. In business, we call that increase the team average. So you always have to elevate yourself and increase the team average. So are you elevating our average?
Yeah.
Do you have to, all of you?
Yeah.
MMA is a sport that gives you so many lessons for life in general because of all the things that you just mentioned. Because of the what it requires you, like the capacity for you to endure, first of all, the fight with yourself mentally, because that's one fight.
The fear, man.
The fear. That's the first fight.
Before going into a fight?
Before going in, it's just the fight with yourself first.
I've known few fighters like, oh, I like it. It's like, no, man, I'm scared of shit right now. Even George said it, man, I'm scared before a fight. I'm like, you start doubting. But then first flight, I was like, oh, this is cool. You have fear. Conquer yourself first.
Yeah, exactly. So many learnings from that, dude. But going back to because that's amazing. I mean, I respect that so much, the fact that you put yourself through that and you learn through that. What if any key lessons have you taken from that world of MMA, and apart from all the ones you just mentioned, have you taken from that world and bring into your music career?
Okay, Khabib gave a little in a YouTube interview, and he said something that for me wasn't like, he said something about sacrifice. All of the big champs have sacrificed something, but it's a price to pay to be a champ. Either it's time away from your family, either it's training more, either it's more than the average. I think a lot of time is isolating yourself from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because everybody has discipline. If you're a pro MMA and you did good, okay, you can fight, you're disciplined, you're strong. And I think in the MMA world or in any fighting aspect or competition, I think the sacrifice, the little edge, and those are the histories of people that made it. They're like, what did you do? Like, you know what? Actually, I had to put my mortgage, my house. That's what and I put everything in my music career. And I was like, and if this it's a win or death situation.
It's a win or lose situation.
Yes. So sacrificing something that most people are not willing to, years of probably, man, living, surviving.
Yeah.
Because at the end there's gonna be, because we're used to just look a short distance. We want the
short-sighted.
We want the recompensa. We want the prize fast.
Yeah.
It's like no. It's a marathon, brother. Are you willing to really sacrifice all this? And sometimes, like right now, I'm away from my kid. My son is and I've been away quite a lot of time. Before, when he was younger, it was more. Time for him wasn't like a thing. Now I was like, okay, Bobby, for how long are you leaving? 12 days. I'm trying to make like things like that, Hopefully I'll be able to bring him with me. But Khabib said in his interviews, like, now I'm here sacrificing this time for my team, but I should be with my wife. But I gotta sacrifice something. And he said, I swear to you, guy, sacrifice is the best, Brother, that is, you never realize that. And the top fighters, that's what they do. Yeah, man.
Amazing, bro. Champ mentality right there. You have a clothing brand, sort of a
Is a star here?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. So first question is, what drove you to create this brand? What is the ethos of the brand?
The marketing, the image. I was like, okay, I gotta come back. 2014, I stopped doing music for a year, and it's like, okay, who am I? What do I like? Like, I wear urban. I'm in Montreal. I'm part of an urban city. I want to represent something that it's me. I always loved, with my mom in Chile, I would sell clothes when we used to go in the street.
Nice.
So I was always like, selling something. The entrepreneur mentality is like, I want to rep something that I wear. So I started doing a hat with Andine textile, with indigenous textile, and I wore it. I was like, man, this could be a thing. I wore it once, and people were stopping me. Yo, where do you bought your hat? I was like,
bro, I got this hat. So let me just show you quickly. This hat here, which has kind of similar sort of pattern to what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you see, if you look at this and look at your arm, can you show the arm to your camera?
Where's
right
the camera?
It's very similar.
Yeah, brother.
So I wore this hat because you were coming, and I had the same thing. Every time I wear this hat, people are like, "Hey, where is that from?"
Yeah.
Like,
but you know that the Maori has, the reason why I did the also known as CRUZ ANDINA, CRUZ ANDINA in Spanish, Chacana in Quechua, and in Mapuzungun it has another name, which is Mapuche language. The reason is because I started analyzing that growing up with indigenous background and everything, it was always there, and then Mapuche, this is a Mapuche pattern. Then I started, it's in Bolivia and Tiahuanaco in Bolivia, up in the mountain, engraved in stones, 4,000 years ago. Then in pyramids in of Mexico, you see it. Then I started going. I went to Morocco in the desert. I saw it exactly the same in indigenous territory. Then when I started getting closer to Glen Maori, then boom, I saw someone in a haka doing a haka with proper clothing. Exactly. I was like, okay, there's something with indigenous people, even in North America.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brother. It's everywhere. So
I didn't know this.
It's like, okay, I want to do something that represents la raza.
Yeah.
For me was la raza. This is, if you have this logo, you're part of my crew. That's kind of like the mentality that the vision.
Right.
And so many. I mean, I would wear hats that had LA or had Yankees. I've never even watched baseball, brother.
Bro, that's so true.
I don't even watch baseball. I don't even know one team player.
I don't even know a single player. Yeah, that's true.
Why the fuck am I wearing? So I was like, no, I want to wear something that is pretty cool and that's nice and is going to be unique. And then I started creating, and I talked with a friend who I had like in the business, and like, yo, I want to create a brand. And he said, look, do 12. If you sell those 12, do 24. If you sell those 24, you were into something. Yeah. That's what I did. So I think I probably sold more than 1,000 hats so far. More than 1,500, I think. So hats with clothing, with indigenous textile. Because then I went to Guatemala. Guatemala has the best indigenous textile in the world, I think.
Yeah.
They crafted their textile really, really well. With aguayo, no aguayo, with shit, I forgot the name. Aguayo, it's in Andin, Bolivia. Then, so this is aguayo, Andin textile. But in Guatemala they call it corte, and so but they have a magnificent. So I went to Guatemala. I traveled. I bought from the people that make the textile. And then from there on, everybody's like, "Yo, this is cool." So the beautiful thing is, indigenous people from either you buy it because you want to rep, or you buy it because you like it. It's like, "Yo, it's unique, it's beautiful." Yeah. So that's how the brand started. Really, in putting the native indigenous fashion identity,
something to represent.
And Chileans see this and like, "Yo, you know what? This touches me because it's part of my culture."
Yeah. Instead of wearing the LA hat.
100%. Copying always North America, always copying North America. Yeah. So, yeah, man. And when a Peruvian goes and sees that, it's like, "Yo, that's cool. That's part of my native heritage." Colombia, I went to Colombia. It's like, "Yo, I want one of your hats. That's crazy." Like, cool, let's go. So I did many other more T-shirts. Stuff like that.
Yeah, no, 100. I that's exactly what happened. The reason why I got this hat, and I'm gonna just show here. It says Criollo, and Criollo in Colombia. When you say you're Criollo, it's like, how can I even explain this? Do you know what it means in Colombia?
It's a mix.
Yes. So Criollo. The actual meaning is Creole, but what it means in Colombia as a culture. Criollo is that person that's they embrace everything to do with the culture. Nice. Criollo is the person that doesn't go and eat fucking burgers and fries. He eats sancocho. He eats hiaco. He loves empanadas. I didn't know that, man.
I didn't know. I like that.
So this rapper called Roca, which we talk about from Tres Coronas, that's what he was sort of all about. He was like, I want to embrace the fact that I'm Criollo. I am the people of
Raza, Baba.
Yeah,
100%.
So he created several hats. So this is one of them. It says Criollo, and I have another one as well. It says Criollo, but it's more of an Americanized style. It's like with the bandana style. But he did both. And these ones were the ones that resonated the most because these one had all the, traditional patterns, and Colombian have also these textiles as well, like you mentioned. So 100. And then once I saw that, I'm exactly what you mentioned. Is like, I want to wear something that I connect with rather than something that everybody's wearing. Just because Jay-Z is wearing this hat, I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah,
it's like,
which I have nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I will wear it, cool. Yeah. But what about this?
Yeah.
What about
something different?
Thing? Yeah.
What does the star mean?
The star. This is Wuñelve. Wuñelve. It's the representation of Venus in the Mapuche cosmovision.
Oh, okay.
But this, like that, it was one of the first Mapuche flag, actually, or the first Mapuche flag that Mapuche Nation we have. It was just blue and the Wuñelve, because it's the first star of the Lucero of the Venus of the star, So la Wuñelve, and like that, I have other patterns with just indigenous nation. Mapuche, I have Atikamekw from nations from North America, and words in Mapudungun also. I put some words like Newen means strength, fuerza, energy. Kimun means knowledge, so I wrote Kimun with kind of more like of a American baseball type of letter,
Yeah.
That's a music too. So it's like my music would be type of this, That would be my music if you put it into a clothing brand.
Nice.
Your marketing.
It's right there.
I think we have to be, man.
You have to be.
If you say, okay, I'm gonna do music for real, I'm gonna be in this business. Well, get your shit together. Get it.
Bro, let's finish off with what's coming next for Akawui for 2025. What are some of the things that you're working on that you want to share?
I'm going back to Montreal. Gotta go to Chicago. I'm actually working with this new trio that I'm doing the songs. Esencia. I'm really working on that too. Gonna perform in Toronto, Chicago. It's gonna be beautiful. And going to Colombia, brother. Going to Colombia.
Nice.
If everything goes well in May, I have to attend a big music conference called BIME, and hopefully also perform there or outside. I don't care. I'm going to Colombia to conquer Colombia, brother. Like honestly,
Yeah,
like,
nice.
I'm gonna go
All
and
the best,
play.
brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
like play and get my name out there. And in the summertime, few shows in Montreal, but also I'm part of a powwow drumming group.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be in the powwow trail because every community has powwows, indigenous festivities.
Yeah.
And so we invited like
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna be really busy with powwow this summer. And what else? And creating new songs. I gotta create the release of Breath of Fire.
Yeah.
That and what else? And other songs like the marimba song.
Perfect. Bro, I have a couple more things before we finish. There's a question I always ask, especially for artists and entrepreneurs like yourself. What would be a piece of advice that you would give to, first of all, to your younger self? Because you made mistakes many years ago. And if you knew this piece of information, you wouldn't have made that mistake, or you would have known better. What would be that piece of advice that you would have given yourself?
Trust your guts.
Trust your guts.
Yeah. Red flag, out. First red flag. People don't change.
I see.
People don't change. If you start working with someone, a producer, and the red, okay, I'm out. Move on. Don't try to be nice. Don't try to be accommodate things. No. Red flag. You see a red flag, out. Because you work with a musician. Red flag. You let it pass. It's gonna come and bite your ass when it's gonna be in a harder situation. Was like, it's like, no, I should have cut you from the beginning. But I want to be cool. I want to be nice. I don't want to be like a dictatorship. This is.
That's a very good piece of advice.
Yeah,
actually.
man. Red flag, out. I don't have time to waste.
Perfect. Okay. Before we finish, I do this with all my guests, which is called the soundboard. So basically, what you have here in front of you is a bunch of buttons with little
with prices, with money.
So all you have to do is just tap one of them, and then it will be a question behind it. Let's play a game. Tell us 3 things about yourself: 1 true and 2 false.
That's cool, man. Shit, Esteban, this is cool. 1 true and 2 false.
Yeah, and I have to guess which one is the true one.
Shit, I played this game with my girlfriend when we first met.
Oh shit!
Yeah. It's like, what? 1 true and 2 false. I have
Don't give me the 2 false, right? You have to mix it up, because otherwise, so mix them up in it. You don't have to respond. Just think about it.
Okay. 1 true and 2 false. I went to jail for a drug situation. I won $49,000 in a TV show. I have a movie that I started writing a script for a movie.
So the drug offense, I think, is false. The movie one, I think, is false. So the second one that you said, what was the one? Wait, you said.
So it's 2 false and 1 true.
Yeah, it's 2 false and 1 true. So you said.
Fuck, I fucked up.
You said 3 things false.
I lied. Oh wait, no. I said two right and 1 false.
Okay, that doesn't matter. Let's just guess. So you say one thing that was.
I said 2 things that were
right,
were true, and 1 false.
Okay, so let me guess the false then. So the drug thing is false.
Yeah, it's false.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost got caught in some shit when I was young. It's a white lie. I almost got caught in some shit.
Okay.
But
okay.
no, in my younger years,
Okay.
watching Blood In, Blood Out, and being a Latino, like, oh.
Yo, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's tap another one.
Oh, another one?
Let's do 2. If you could erase one decision from your past, would you? And what would it be?
That's deep, man. That's deep because I'm really going deep. One decision of my past. My father passed away 2 years ago. And for the last 6 months, we didn't talk. Because he got mad at me. He had cancer and I should have been like, no, I'm going to go and talk with him, Because I should have. I said, okay, he doesn't want to talk, No, I said, fuck it.
Should have been the bigger man.
Yeah, I should have been the bigger man.
That's a really good one, bro. Yeah. Oof, I felt.
Yeah. Well,
I felt it.
It's the only thing that really kind of like fucked. Something that I regret.
Yes. Yeah. No, I say that to some of I have just family members that just fighting with their fathers or whatever, and it's like, man, you don't know where they're not gonna be here.
We don't know.
It's just not worth it.
We don't know when nothing is given.
100, dude. 100. Hey, look, bro, that was good. I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
100%.
I definitely had a lot of fun. Thanks so much for coming through. And we're gonna have Swizl Jagger now come in and perform some tunes, Breath of Fire. I saw you guys last night perform that live, and I was like, oh shit, this is a cool song.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So congrats on that. Actually, I didn't ask you this, and I wanted to start with this. How did this keep my mind? I wanted to ask you what you thought about Aotearoa.
Beautiful.
Because we talked about that off the mic.
Yeah.
But give us, because the listeners of this podcast are mainly from Aotearoa.
I loved.
What are your thoughts on Aotearoa? What do you think?
The landscape, first, I love it. I love it because I went to Papamoa. Wellington came. I was like, man, so much green, so much. You see all the cows, the sheep walking in the. I'm like, wow,
like a giant farm.
Yeah, man, giant farm. But I liked the presence of the Maori society, the Maori, that how well they are respected in society, in downtown. You get to take the train, you hear Te Reo Maori first, and then English. And this is indigenous land, brother. America is indigenous land first. So you cannot deny that. You know, and so I think it's proper respect. Just this proper respect. You know, you come to my house, you know, if in my house I want to take off your shoes, take off your shoes. This is, you know,
that's
brother. It's not like that in Chile. It's not like that in Colombia. It's not like that. No, it's like, and I think there's a lack. And I think, and what I liked here, and I knew that before, but it got reconfirmed. Swizl started his songs with, I think it's an anthem from school, but it's in Te Reo Maori, and you see everybody singing the song in Te Reo Maori. White, black, Asian, Latino. They know the song.
Yeah,
you know. Yesterday they were doing the kamate, the kia ora, you know, and and they're doing it, and that's for me, it's inclusion. That's like, that's unity, bro. I mean, we don't have that in North America. We don't have Caucasian people singing powwow songs or singing. No, they'll be like, "What are you doing?" You know. So I think first unity and showing and mutual respect, and that's what I really see here. And also, I think that will just make the nation stronger, just stronger, because we are learning from each other, and we're helping each other as to kind of get a solid identity. That's lack in Chile. We don't have that in Chile. Chileans like, Mapuche. It's like, brother, you're 40% indigenous. What are you talking about,
bro? 100%.
You know, you're dark skin. What do you think? Like, you think you're white? You think you're? Get out of here, man. It's so, you know, and when we're super racist against our own indigenous people, or about
bro, there's, I don't know if you know this, but
food that we eat, everything,
bro. It's actually like in Colombia they use the word Indio as an insult. That tells you that right there. Like if you call somebody an Indio, which Indio translates to indigenous, it's like
ignorant.
Yeah, it's just like
stupid.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
You're like
savage.
Yeah, that's right. Like it's such a disconnection from who you are, because you, like you said, 100%. Like all of us there have some indigenous roots. It's just no going back. We have Afro-Colombian roots, we have Spanish, and we have indigenous.
Did you know? Funny fact that in Canada, there's native people you're gonna find in Canada that are like white or blue eyes, and they have. And I assure you that if you take any person in Latin America and you do their DNA test, the guy that calls himself Chilean, Colombian, Peruvian has more indigenous DNA than that native guy in Canada. Sometimes, not always. That he says, and I'm proud to be indigenous. So this guy that is less indigenous DNA He's going to say, I'm proud to be indigenous because yes, no. And this guy who's like, you're more native than this guy, he's like, no, I'm Chilean. I don't know. And that's a reality. From Mexico down to Chile, papa. And I'm like,
100.
You guys are...
100. 100. 100.
You know?
100. This is your house.
Thank you, bro.
Always
Thank
welcome
you,
here.
Thank you.
And have a safe trip back home. And yeah, all the best. Nice to meet you, my brother. Sweet.
Kia ora.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we got Swizl Jagger in the motherfucking house. He just came here because I went to the show last night. Fucking amazing show. You guys performed your new track. And I thought, fuck, man, we're going to do a podcast. Might as well just do a live performance there because that track was just fucking bomb. So Swizl is here.
Si crees que me voy a rendir,
Dale.
que faja
Tírale fuego.
te estás poniendo el dedo en el ojo. Me toa taua que au, ki hai au e ruha. Soy crazy en el coco, oye loco. Hey! Dímelo Swizl. I'm representing Wei-chan. Hey! Kiarite, Homario, kupukia wete. Homario, kupukia wete.
E porangi au, kare au e karo tēnā, he pai te mamai, mahi ai whawhai pēnā, ka kai te mamai, kia tipu te riri, wera, ka mate ngā hoa e riri.
Yo, breath of fire, como un dragón en llamas. Arraso con lo que hay enfrente de mi panorama. A la hora de luchar no me conformo con ganar. En el campo de batalla yo te voy a dominar.
Reka tia koe au, tangi te pere, te taia, te karo, i taku me ke Maui matau. E porangi au, mata ki te mata, kare au e tiro ki te papa.
Boom, 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 boom. Late mi corazón, se acelera poco a poco mi respiración. La adrenalina corre por mis venas, la mandíbula se me cierra, mis puños piden guerra. Si crees que me voy a rendir,
Que whakaurararo tia au,
te estás poniendo el dedo en el ojo.
me toa taua ke au, ki hai au e ruha.
Soy crazy en el coco, oye loco. Homario, kupukia wete. Homario, kupukia wete. Homario, kupukia wete. Homario, kupukia wete. Lo con el coco es verdad, no te lo voy a negar. Un masoquista a la hora de pelear. Me alimento del dolor, por dentro crece mi furor. Mientras corre mi sudor, mi cuerpo entero entra en calor. Hoy.
Mahana te tinana ki te hā, e wera, e rite tonu ki te moko nui tuha wera, ka whakamutua te katoa, ina ka pakunga, i kore mutu i kona, whawhai mo ake rā.
Cuando suenen las campanas, mis demonios voy a liberar. Son más de miles, te lo puedo asegurar. Como un toro que ve rojo voy, pierdo el control, no te agacho la mirada, enloquecido estoy.
Ka toto ana te manua, ka noa ka hikaka, ka ngau te atika, e kai haka karanga, no hauraro tanga, e kuare koe, kai hamiti, kaka.
Si crees que me voy a rendir,
Ke whakaurararo tia au,
te estás poniendo el dedo en el ojo.
e toa taua ke au, ki hai au e ruha.
Soy crazy en el coco, oye loco. Hey! Homario, kupukia wete. Homario, kupukia wete. Homario, kupukia
Yeah.
There you go, papa.
Let's go.
And then we leave the wrist for a surprise, eh?
Yes.
That's a surprise, that wrist put.
Fucking awesome. Like, couldn't feel the tracks. I wanted to vibe with it. I was just not going by Man, that's a mean ass track. It's got a choreography and everything.
What
does it mean? What does that mean?
It just means like we're gonna tear you apart, basically.
Okay.
It's a fight song. So the bro recorded a version a few years ago, and it's like all about fighting. Because you used to be a fighter, right?
I wanted a song about what goes inside of your mind when you actually they close a cage and you're like, let's get it.
Yeah.
And let's get it to a point of like kind of a neurosis, man. Really?
Yeah,
it's like if someone comes to your house and they try to assault your kids and your mom, brother, it's over. It's like I'm gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's instinct. It's just fucking survival.
Yeah. And so when you get to that point, it's kind of hard to talk about it because you consider like, oh, that's too violent. So fuck. Okay, how can I really express what goes on in a fighter's mind?
Yeah.
When that happens, like a song, and sometimes people are like, "Yo, what is the most song that you can relate?" It's like, Breath of Fire. My dark side goes there, you know, and that's where I can be like, fuck, I can be myself here.
And it's intrinsic to haka as well.
Exactly.
You know?
So it was pretty mystical when this song happened.
So I was gonna ask you, like, so what made you like choose this track in particular when you met Swizl? Because the story kind of goes that you guys met, this song existed before I met Swizl. Then you met Swizl and you go, shit, this track needs a revival.
We met because of this song.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
So my friend who lives in Chile, I grew up with him, but he now lives in Chile. He heard the song, messaged him and was like, hey, I know a Māori rapper. You should talk to him.
Oh, I see.
And we did
that dude listened to this song and went, fuck, this, like, Swizl will be amazing on this track.
Yeah.
I don't think he thought I'd be amazing on it. He just wanted to connect
you with.
Just connected. Oh, I see.
Yeah, we should connect. So the way it happened, long story short, I met a Maori friend, Glenn Cruz, who teaches haka in Toronto.
Oh.
And I saw the performance of haka, and I heard this haka, like, oh my, and I was like, this is mean. And 1 year later, he invites me to be a part of the haka group, and he teaches me like the principle and the te waka, some hakas, and a few basics, kamate and all, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I remember doing a haka one time with him, and I almost cried, brother. Because he said, you got to let it out. It's like all out. It's like the haka is kind of, he said, this is the last thing you do on the surface of the earth. Tomorrow there's no, I was like, whoa. So I was like, wow. And then I was like, it's therapeutical, man. It's like really give it all out. And then he explained a few things about the haka. It's not about war. Sometimes it's about gratitude. Sometimes about respect. And I was like, wow. And I wanted to do a song for fighting. It was in my mind for years. Like, fuck, I wanna express everything that I have in why, because I was able to train with good guys under BTT Canada. I had like 4 pro fights, and I was like, all this rage inside. And then I said, Glenn, I think would be the could we do a haka? Can I take? What about that haka? It's like, look, there's a haka that goes like, and I was like, that's the one. Like, yes. What is it talk about? It's about exactly when the Maori and New Zealand British had an encounter. Is it? No. Well, it's a war haka.
It's a story.
It's a war haka. Yeah.
It's a war haka. So he said, look, man, we can take this part and that part because the other part talks about Maori and it's kind of like out of place. But I was like, I wanted to respect. So we went to a studio. We recorded with him and his crew. And I was like, and then I was like, na. So I kind of created the song about that. And then it was kind of easy to write the lyrics, because it's like, this is what happens in my mind.
Yeah, right.
And then the song was made, 2 music videos, but I was like, fuck, this song needs to get way better, way there. It has. I finished my concerts with this song because, And then I said, Swizl, I met him. He's like, bro, would you like to feature on this? And Te Reo Māori, because he raps on Te Reo Māori. I'm Mapuche from my dad's side. I'm Indigenous, but I don't rap on Maputhungun. A few rappers do it, and I have too much respect for that because I'm learning the language now. So I rap in Spanish, but I always rap my Indigenous background and my roots. So this is it. And so I came. We met in Toronto. Person in live June, and we recorded the music video.
And you recorded? Oh wow!
Yeah, we recorded half of the music video, the song, the lyrics, and now I'm here.
Right. Wow. Can't wait to see what the music video is going to look like. When is this set to release? If you can give any dates, no?
June, hopefully.
June? This podcast probably. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, brother. June. We're going to release it in June for some specific dates in June.
Nice. Amazing. Awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming through. Swizl, thanks again for making an appearance here. The second time already, my man. Yeah, let's go.
Second home.
For all of you who listen to this episode, thank you very much for tuning in. Remember to drink water and exercise. Ciao, ciao. Welcome to the next level. Thank you for watching this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, I'll leave you another episode here. And if you'd like to support us, visit themeldingmuse.com. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.